the UK taking unilateral action. And of course, we saw recently Lord Frost, Frosty the No Man as he became known on this channel, becoming effectively the Minister for Brexit Britain, and clear already that there is going to be indeed, as was rumoured, a tougher approach when it comes to dealing with the European Union. As ever guys, you can rely on me on this channel to bring you all the very latest, so do hit subscribe, hit the bell, I don't want you missing the next video, and of course give this video a big thumbs up as well, I'd really appreciate it. As the Times report, Boris Johnson's new Brexit minister yesterday provoked a new confrontation with the EU after he set out plans to unilaterally delay implementing parts of the Northern Ireland Protocol. In his first act since being appointed, Lord Frost told Brussels that the government would extend an exemption for checks on supermarkets sending goods from Britain to Northern Ireland for a further 6 months. Frost is also expected to announce a similar moratorium on customs declaration on parcels being sent to the province, with the UK now unilaterally moving to extend the exemption period, with one Whitehall source quoted as saying it was a sign of the tougher approach that Frost wanted to take with the EU. And it's well known, I think, that when it comes to the EU, I don't think they're big fans of Frost. That's not necessarily a bad thing, of course. You saw what Theresa May's mob did when they rolled over and had their bellies tickled by the EU, giving everything away in what was a complete humiliation. So having someone there that was there, of course, played a pivotal role throughout the negotiations. Clearly, Lord Frost, someone that's not going to be pushed around on this and going to take a robust approach, something I know from you guys in the comments you want to see and think is long overdue. Frost certainly has the reputation with the EU to being someone who is going to stand his ground. And as the Telegraph report, Boris Johnson, the Prime Minister himself, has grown increasingly frustrated with the EU's interpretation of the Northern Ireland Protocol. Now, Frost spoke to the EU's Mara Šefčovič yesterday, last night in fact, and here is the statement. Frost underlined, as the Chancellor of the Duchy of Lancaster had in his letter of the 2nd of February, that progress still needed to be urgently made to address the direct and often disproportionate impact the aspects of the protocol are having on the citizens of Northern Ireland, contrary to its intended purpose. He acknowledged the work of the Joint Committee over the last few weeks since the Commission's triggering of Article 16 of the protocol on the 29th of January, but noted that these discussions had not yet resolved the current difficulties. Lord Frost explained that the measures announced today, following official level notification to the Commission earlier this week, were temporary technical steps which largely continued measures already in place to provide more time for businesses such as supermarkets and parcel operators to adapt and to implement the new requirements in the protocol. He underlined that these were needed for operational reasons and were the minimum necessary steps to allow time for constructive discussions in the Joint Committee to continue without the prospect of disruption to the everyday life of people in Northern Ireland in the coming weeks. He noted that the operational measures were well precedented in other international trade agreements and that they were entirely consistent with our attention to discharge our obligations under the protocol in good faith. Northern Ireland Secretary Brandon Lewis confirming that the grace period would continue till at least the 1st of October, and took questions yesterday in Parliament from several MPs, including DUP MPs. I'm going to show you the clips here. But first of all, Brandon Lewis did highlight, of course, the EU's move towards triggering Article 16. Here's that clip.
Well, I was very pleased that Vice President Šefčovič agreed and met with businesses, cross-communities and civic society in Northern Ireland recently to hear directly from people who are being affected in Northern Ireland about the impact of some of the issues we are seeing, and particularly, as I say, the reality of the impact that the EU's decision of invoking Article 16 had in terms of compounding these issues and the impact that had in terms of undermining cross-community confidence. And as I say, that's why we're going to be taking forward some further temporary operational steps.
As I said, he was then questioned by a number of MPs, including DUP MPs. First of all, here was his exchange with Sammy Wilson, DUP MP.
Even with the grace periods in place, which give exemptions from many of the EU checks which will eventually be required in Northern Ireland, there has been massive disruption of trade as a result of the implementation of the protocol. Does the Secretary of State accept that if the Prime Minister's promise and the protocol's assurance that there will be unfettered trade between GB and Northern Ireland are to be delivered, then something more than an extension of the grace periods are required, and that really there needs to be a reset or rethinking of the agreement so that we have an alternative arrangement, such as the mutual enforcement of regulations, which would exempt Northern Ireland being subject to EU laws and from the EU European Court of Justice making judgments about this part of the United Kingdom.
Well, look, I respect the honourable gentleman has been consistent in his views on this for a very substantial period, well, at all times. I have also been very clear. We were always determined to ensure that we were able to deliver unfettered access for Northern Ireland businesses to the rest of the United Kingdom, and we have done that. We've also been very clear we want to ensure that free flow and flexible trade across the United Kingdom so that GB businesses can trade into Northern Ireland properly, whilst accepting and acknowledging the reality of the single epidemiological unit of the island of Ireland, as the SPS situation does, as has been there, as I said before, in some form or another since the 19th century. That's something that was acknowledged long ago. So that does have absolutely accepted, and we've always outlined, an impact. But we have got to ensure, he's absolutely right, that the people of Northern Ireland can continue to enjoy products and their commercial activities as well as their day-to-day lives in the way that they always have done as members of and part of the United Kingdom.
And Sir Geoffrey Donaldson, another DUP MP, also questioning Brown and Lewis, and here is that exchange in Parliament yesterday.
As we approach the end of the 3-month grace period under the Northern Ireland Protocol, many businesses and individuals in Northern Ireland are very concerned about what this will mean for them, and in particular their ability to order goods and receive parcels from suppliers in Great Britain. Without further disruption to this trade, what is the Secretary of State and the Government going to do to address these concerns?
Secretary of State.
Well, the right honourable gentleman makes a very good point, and as has been the case since January, our focus will remain on supporting the effective flow of goods between Northern Ireland and Great Britain and avoiding any unacceptable disruption to the critical flow of goods on which lives and livelihoods rely. It is important, I absolutely agree, it is important that businesses and citizens across Northern Ireland do not see their lives or their livelihoods unacceptably disrupted as they adapt to new requirements. So I can advise the right honourable gentleman that further guidance will be provided later this week on parcel movements from Great Britain to Northern Ireland.
Back to Sir Geoffrey.
I thank the Secretary of State for that response. He will also be aware that agri-food businesses and others in Northern Ireland are very concerned about the potential imposition of charges on goods that are brought into ports in Northern Ireland at the behest of the European Union. This will add significantly to the cost of doing business with the rest of the United Kingdom. Again, what does the Secretary of State intend to do to ensure that businesses in Northern Ireland are not required to pay these additional charges?
Well, I know the right honourable gentleman, alongside the First Minister and other party colleagues, have been strong in their determination to highlight this and other issues associated with the protocol. I absolutely recognise that. And I can confirm today for the right honourable gentleman that it is our intention that no charging regime is required for agri-foods, and I'll be outlining that in the written ministerial statement later today.
Now, in terms of the EU's response to all of this, they put out a statement expressing EU concerns over UK unilateral action, saying this amounts to a violation of... And they claim that this is the second time that the UK government is set to breach international law, saying that it was disappointing the government had resorted to taking unilateral action, and even talking about the EU Commission potentially responding with legal means established by the withdrawal agreement and the TCA. So I want to know from you in the comments below, guys. Do you agree with what Lord Frost, Boris Johnson, the British government have done here? What do you think they need to do moving forward? And what did you make of what Brown and Lewis had to say in Parliament yesterday? Do let me know in the comments below, guys. And as ever, if you've enjoyed this video, do please give it a thumbs up. Would really appreciate that. And if you want to support my work here on the channel, would really appreciate it. Become a supporter by hitting the join button. See the link in the top pinned comment. And of course, guys, as ever, thanks for watching.